welcome to We Used to Live Together. I'm Hannah.
I'm Kris.
And we
used to live together. Welcome back, roomies. Listen, you might have seen the title of this episode, but don't be afraid. You might be thinking to yourself, hey, I'm not really into that stuff. You know what? Stick around. You might change your mind because we've got a great episode in store for you, Hannah.
Yes.
I'm ready. I'm gonna hand it off to you.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a certified beer cicerone, host of multiple podcasts on Horrible People's Podcast Network, and our resident dungeon master, Danny.
Cheers, y'all. It is 9:45. Coffee beer.
Coffee beer. That's how we do it. Oh my gosh. Hi. Welcome.
Delicious. Thank you. Hi.
Hey, wait, what are you drinking? Let the
I
people
am
know.
drinking Naughty Sauce from Noble Ale Works. It slaps. I love it.
Shout out
to Noble. Please pay us money.
Also, again, with the marketing.
Yeah.
This is a throwback to our beer episode.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Always market the beer you're drinking, please.
The artwork.
Artwork, yes.
Artwork's dope.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Of
I'm excited.
course. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been video recorded for a podcast, so I feel weird. I don't know where to look.
I know. Don't worry about it. It's
don't
not
look
there.
at Well, you can look at the camera.
I'm just gonna, as you guys start talking, pull a Jim and like.
I know. I'll talk about how I know you, how we met. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so roomies, if you recall an episode a couple weeks ago where we talked about our past jobs, and I referred to a job that was like incredibly toxic. That's
rough.
where I met Danny. We have shared trauma from that job.
It was a rough job, but I am glad. Like I met you. Obviously, I made good friends out of it.
Yeah.
The few that I still speak to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting. It was an experience and a half.
No, yeah. So we used to live together.
That's true.
We used to work together.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you guys used to work
We
together.
And we used to work together.
So we're all connected.
Right.
But yeah, that job was absolutely horrible, but I am very grateful for your friendship.
Yeah.
It's withstood many years.
Many years.
Yeah.
Pain.
And
I think I started using Sorry I Exist because of you in like my daily routine.
What?
So there was a time where I don't know why it was part of your job, but you would have to come out and label boxes. And I remember you messed something up and you're like, oh my God, sorry I exist.
I know.
And I was like, who are you talking to?
No, I was just so depressed.
I was so confused. I'm like, why is she sorry she exists?
Oh, what a dark time.
You guys were in the trenches together.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
tough.
it's a PTSD thing for me sometimes.
You can't hear tape guns.
Yeah.
Actually, really quick.
Yeah.
This last weekend, we had a retirement party for my aunt, and I forgot I let my brother borrow the tape gun that I stole from that job. And so I hear,
No.
and I look over and I'm like, oh shit, it's my tape gun.
I stole a tape gun too. I still have
You guys, when you hear it, you're like,
Yeah, it's like a trigger response.
I don't use it a lot. I do enjoy using it for Christmas presents
Ooh.
because it stresses people out.
Yeah.
It's very hard to open.
Oh man.
well,
Yeah.
what's good, my dude?
Oh my gosh, what's good, my dude? Okay, so what's good, my dude, is where we just kind of catch up on life, share what we're enjoying in pop culture, yada yada yada. Mine is very timely because this is a late to the party episode, and my what's good, my dude, I'm very late to the party on this. I just started watching The Last of Us.
Oh, okay.
I'm on episode 4, and wowza.
Well, tell us the real reason you're watching, Hannah.
Well, I don't know. Have you guys heard of Pedro Pascal?
I don't know her.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Jesus
Wow,
Christ.
he is. Whoa. Like, normally my stance would be like, if anything like this happened, just kill me right away because I don't want to have to live through that. But if he's leading the charge, if he's keeping me safe, I'm signing
You're
up.
like,
Yeah.
keep me safe, Daddy.
Anyway, it's okay. It's like it's intense. It's spooky.
Yeah.
This isn't really a spoiler because I'm so behind. But like the way those things look with the
infected. What do they call them on that show? Do they call them infected? Okay.
It was whenever. Have you seen it?
No, and it's
okay.
fine. You could go ahead.
Okay.
I've heard so much about it. I'm sure I know what you're about to say.
I literally had a nightmare a really weird, scary dream after the episode where Tess dies and she like makes out with the.
Yeah.
That was That was a sight.
Okay, and you had a nightmare about that.
Because why? In the it was so intimate.
Yeah. It was. I haven't seen it since it aired, so you're refreshing some memories for me.
Anyways, it's really good. I've cried in every single episode.
I too cried.
Yeah.
And because it's more than just the zombies and the action. It's actually a very emotional.
Yeah.
Because it's like a father-daughter
and
relationship.
Someone dies in every single episode. At least one person.
Yeah, I think that's how they keep it interesting. But
yeah, it's a lot. Did you play the video game?
No, Hannah.
I don't know. Did you play? Do you play video games?
So I do, but I play very old video games because I've had enough. I'm done paying $70 for a new game.
Yeah.
Like that's so expensive.
Yes.
Hell no.
My roommates have said that it's very accurate to the video game.
To the game.
So
I heard the same thing from my gaming friends.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what's good with me. What's good with you guys, my dudes?
I work a lot, but one thing I started watching or rewatching is Batman the Animated Series.
Bruh.
Yeah,
I love that show so much.
I was pretty lit one night, and I'm texting my friend Alex from Horrible Peoples, and I'm like, dude, first of all, Danny Elfman on the track, incredible. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
But then, of course, I'm like, dude, how dare they start episode 2, the Christmas special, immediately Mark Hamill Joker. I was like, it's banger after banger after banger of episodes. It is so good.
Uh-huh. And Kevin Conroy is probably my favorite Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
so good.
Rest in peace, but...
Yeah, so I've been doing that.
Have you seen this cartoon at all?
Nope.
No.
Oh, man.
Do you know who Mark Hamill is?
Yes, Luke
Did you know
Skywalker.
he was the voice of the Joker?
No, I had no idea.
Well,
that's easily my favorite Joker voice.
Wow.
Totally.
Oh, it was a show or a movie?
It's a cartoon.
Oh,
It was a 90s animated series.
Huh.
So,
okay.
Cool. I'm going to jump on that
Yeah.
because you haven't seen all of them?
No, I have.
You have?
I'm literally just rewatching it because I was drunk at home one day and I was like, I'd love to watch a cartoon
My
right
childhood
now.
consisted of me coming home from school, immediately turning on the TV to that show. It was that, and during that time it was like that followed by Superman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
So they did it like back to back. That's my afternoon right there.
Really?
Like I'm not doing homework. I'm not taking a nap. I'm putting on Batman and Superman. Those were my afternoons. And in the morning, I remember in the morning, it was Pokemon in the morning.
Yeah.
You had a whole schedule.
Pokemon before school, and then after school, it was Batman and Superman. So I feel you, man. It's won awards.
Yeah, it's very good.
In
well
the
written.
Yeah,
it's
in the
intense.
comic book community, it is well respected.
Wow.
So, and I'm sure Lorenzo knows.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So
I don't know.
And they had some good voice actors on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I don't remember them all, but
I love Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great score.
Yeah.
Musically alone, it's incredible.
The theme song, you should just listen to the theme song.
Okay, I will.
I guarantee you've heard the theme song used in like TikToks or Reels or something.
Yeah.
But you're going to be like, oh shit, that's Danny Elfman. Like, it's crazy.
Okay, I love that.
Just for a kid's show.
Well, speaking of elves,
Oh my
God. Help.
let's get into our main event.
Yes.
Like I said, listeners, don't be afraid of this episode. We know this can be an intense topic.
Oh my god.
But Hannah and I, well, let's tell them what the topic is, and let's tell them our experience.
Should we
with
remind them Late to the Party what
Oh,
that is
yes,
all
I'm so
about?
sorry. Late to the Party is a series that we have where Hannah and I have a guest on, an expert, our resident expert. It talks about a topic that we are not. Well, we're late to the party too because we didn't grow up with it, or we weren't exposed to it. So this is one of those topics, Dungeons and Dragons. I first experienced this during COVID. That was my first real experience with it, is because we did my cousins and I did a Zoom, a Dungeons and Dragons Zoom.
I think I remember
You
being in your room and like hearing you laugh super loud.
Yeah.
And then you'd like come run out to get like water or something or snacks, and you'd run back in.
I forgot that you guys were there because we used to live together.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first experience with it. It was when they told me, okay, you have to pick a character and kind of like know your character for the game. of course, I wrote a 6-page backstory for my half-elf ranger, who I named Mason Moonbird.
Wow.
Wait, where did you get the name? Was it Fantasy Name Generator?
No, I just came up with it.
Okay. There is a Fantasy Name Generator website, and it is the fucking best. Because I'll just be clicking through names.
On it. No,
It's
I've
so
been on
much
it.
fun.
I didn't use it for this, though.
It's very slow on the work computers, by the way.
Yikes. So that was my first experience with it. It was a virtual Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the next time I played it in person was probably with Lorenzo.
Right? And Goots, you came over.
I DM for you guys
Oh,
once.
yeah, that's right. Okay, yes. Okay, so
Yeah.
that was your first time?
That was my first time.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, I Wow, okay. So I made fun of it a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. No, you can make fun of it. I still make fun of it.
I remember
Wait, sorry. Our very first experience with it
was Community.
I was
about to say that.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and Stranger Things, right?
Yes,
like
and Stranger Things,
But
yes,
then
yes.
I saw I watched Community, the show, for the first time during COVID.
Yes.
And wow, those episodes.
Those are some of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, they're so good, and that made me want to try playing. And then Danny. Sorry, I might call you Goots.
It's fine.
Because that's not
me.
what I almost said. What I grew up calling you. Not what I called you at work.
We were growing up at work.
But
Full on adults.
I started talking to Danny about Dungeons and Dragons at work, and then I think I don't know how it came about, but you came over and you DM'd a campaign for us, which was like our first actual time doing it. And I remember like the process of like creating my character was so intense and overwhelming.
Grueling.
But I don't even remember what she's called. Okay, so my character's name is Maya Montero. Out of
oh fuck, I forgot about it because this is a Lil Nas X thing.
Yeah, a reference to Lil Nas X. And I'm a tiefling.
Tiefling.
Yeah, tiefling. Yeah, barbarian. So I mean, she's kind of a badass. But since then,
I forgot what kind of character it was. I forgot so much. Holy shit.
Since then, we've played a couple of times with like John, who's my current roommate right now. He DMs for us.
Your brother-in-law, John.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, John.
It's just John.
But yeah, so that's kind of my history with it.
Yeah.
What about you?
So I also got into D&D during COVID. A friend of mine that I went to high school with, her and I were kind of in like the same boat where we were like kind of just broken up with our like obviously our exes, but we were with those people for a while, and we just like, hey, you sad? I'm sad. We should hang out. So we started talking, hanging out, and like it wasn't like dating or anything. We were just literally hanging out and like catching up. We haven't spoken in fucking almost 10 years. And she's like, yeah, I'm still playing D&D. And I was like, hey, I'm like super interested in this now. Like I want to pursue something weird. Let me get out of my own head. Like, let me do something. She's like, yeah, for sure. Like, it was towards the end of us hanging out. So like towards the end of that night. So she was like, dude, you know what? Listen to this podcast. It's very good. And it'll help you kind of pick it up. No,
not Critical
Honestly,
Role.
Critical Role is very good, but I don't like listening to it because its audio is very terrible from the beginning. Because it was recorded for YouTube, and so the audio is kind of ass, in my opinion.
Right.
But from what I heard, it gets better obviously because they get better equipment time. But it was called The Adventure Zone, and The Adventure Zone is three brothers and their dad playing D&D, and it's fucking hilarious because when they started it, the current edition, 5th edition, the one that we play or that we played, that I play still, it was pretty new. And so the brother who DMs is the youngest brother, and he's like, I have very minimal experience with 5e, and they're like, cool, we've never played before. So like as they're learning and you're listening, I was starting to pick up things.
Yeah.
So I went and bought my first set of dice, which I brought with me.
Whoa.
This is not the original case it came in because I lost it.
Well, those are dope.
Yeah, they have like letterings and stuff on them. But Barnes & Noble, by the way.
Oh, shout out.
Cheap $10 dice. But I love these dice. I went and bought a player's handbook and these dice. And then one of my friends, he was like super into D&D, so I asked him, hey, you know what, like, help me build a character. So him and I met at Steelcraft over here in Garden Grove, and I printed out a character sheet. I brought pencils, my book.
You did it in public.
Yeah. No, and so he brought all of his books. Now, this man is like, I consider him an actual expert. He has almost every single book that's been released for 5th edition. It has like new races, new traits, new like all kinds of shit. So he brings everything, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is a lot.
Gosh.
And so I built my first character and character that I play in Turning Tables. His name is Amon. He is well, at first he was a wood elf, rogue arcane trickster, and in Turning Tables he's an astral elf. Which is a little fun.
Astral elf.
Yeah, it's space elves, because there was space elf book released at some point, and he brought that book later on. So I built this character with him, and we start playing. It was him as DM, me, his wife at the time, and one of her coworkers, and we played Curse of Strahd. And Curse of Strahd is a vampire-based story. It's, from what I've been reading, and I've read the whole book after we finished this campaign, it's very beginner friendly, because there's a lot of things that happen, but you can't, like, it's very beginner friendly once you get past a certain point, because that certain point is terrifying and you can die.
Yeah.
And so he ran that campaign with us. I fucking loved it. I had so much fun doing that. And him and I, like, him and his wife got divorced. And him and I stayed friends, and we always talk about D&D. We actually started a new D&D group with like people we met at a brewery.
Oh, cool.
And then I met Alex, and Alex was telling me about her podcast, and Ruben and I had been talking about starting a D&D podcast. And so we talked to her about it. We're like, hey, you don't even have to like put it on your network or anything. Like, we just want your help on how we can publish it. And if you want in, obviously, like, please feel free to join. And she's like, no, yeah, let's do that. So we write this story. We, kind of present the idea to her, and then she presents it to the other guy who's started the network. His name's Anthony. And she's like, what do you think? Podcast network. And he was like, yeah, let's fucking do it.
That's awesome.
So that's how Turning Tables came around.
Oh, okay.
But since then, I DM for our other group every once in a while. Like, Ruben and I trade 2 different stories. So that group of people has 2 different characters that they have to remember things about.
Oh my god.
And it's usually
couldn't be me.
It's months apart. Like,
no.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Wait, so just to clarify for the listener, so your podcast is Turning Tables. That's where you play.
Yeah, we're actually playing.
Okay.
And it's original story, because it's. I'll get to it later when we get to the world building part of this, but everything's plagiarized in D&D. Yeah. Anybody who comes to you and says they have an original story, it's probably plagiarized. It's inspired by something, but it's still really fun. Like, I love that about D&D.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I'm excited to get into the world building part of it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because we recently had a D&D day for Danny, my brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law.
Your former.
Oh, yes, Dan. Oh, for his birthday.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for weeks, this guy was like at the table.
He put his heart into
studying.
it.
He had books out.
That's
like
so much fun.
And I'm just like,
it was his first time being dungeon master.
Yes, yeah.
So he really put his all into it.
Okay. I'm going to explain what I think a dungeon master is.
Please.
For the listeners that might not know what we're talking about, I feel like we need to like explain things, right?
No,
because
absolutely.
I don't know a lot. Anyways.
Yeah.
So like the dungeon master.
Hold on. Let's start with, what is Dungeons and Dragons?
What are dice?
Wait, let us
explain.
Let us explain what we think it is, and then you can jump in with the actual. Here's what we think it is.
Yeah.
Okay. You sit down with your friends at a table.
Yes.
You have these characters these fantasy characters that you create and name and, get really creative with. And then somebody called the Dungeon Master, who has prepared a story for the game, walks you through this role-playing game where you guys take turns fighting or discovering things.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Am I explaining it correctly?
That sounds
What would
right
you
to
add
me.
to add?
That sounds right to me. No, it's literally exactly what it says. Tabletop role-playing game.
Okay.
Where now you don't even, because of Zoom and technology, you don't even have to be in person to do it. Actually, do you guys use D&D Beyond?
Yes.
Yeah?
The app or the site.
The app or the site?
Yeah, we do. We do.
If you use D&D Beyond, I think there's a way where, like, if you're the DM, Dungeon Master, sorry, I say DM a lot because I'm not going to say Dungeon Master.
Right.
No, you're good.
Yes.
You can actually see other people if you're, like, connected through the same, like, profile. You can actually see, like, how those players are doing. You can see their dice rolls if they use electronic dice. Don't use electronic dice. It's not as much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like because of those things, playing remote is a little easier. But I personally like playing analog. I have paper character sheets.
Yeah.
The only thing I use my phone for is like, what does that ability do? Because I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
Or what does this do? Like,
Yeah.
why did I write this name on my paper and nothing else?
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of my character sheets.
Yeah.
Goddamn mess.
So a dungeon master then, or a DM, they're in charge of kind of creating the story and leading everybody through.
Yeah.
And that's called a
The
campaign.
campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They build this world and kind of just put you in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, again, this is a preference, like how DMs do things.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just let them do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
So I present them this open world, and it's good and it's bad. It's good because you give your characters free ability to do whatever they want, interact with whoever they want. You better have a list of names because they're gonna ask what that guy's name is, what's that girl's name, what's the name of this store. So I have a list of names usually prepared, and like I know what my buddy Ruben does is he'll grab a book, and as soon as we're like, oh, who do we see in this tavern, he'll roll a dice, open the book, and be like, oh, it's this race of character. So he's very good at improv, and like
wow.
I don't think I could do that.
Improv is the name. Yes, and everything.
Yes, and exactly.
No, like there are some DMs who like they give their players the illusion that they like chose to go this way, but they're gonna end up there anyway. Like all three paths do this, but they end at the same point.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so. I know. Watching Danny prepare for this campaign, I was just like, this is intense. It was like he was studying for finals. Like, he had the books out everywhere. He's like practice rolling, and then even like the setup.
Not practice rolling.
He was, and even like during the game, like he had like a barrier set up so we could.
Oh yeah, so we couldn't see what he was looking at. Yeah,
usually,
it was crazy.
I play with a DM screen usually.
Yeah,
because it's easier, especially if you have a bunch of crap out.
Yeah,
and I mean, you know, if you're the dungeon master, you don't want them to know how like hurt their enemy is, or like, hey man, maybe they're not doing anything, and you're just like pretending to write stuff.
Well, and I felt bad. I kind of felt bad because I feel like we didn't get to finish his full.
We didn't know,
and I feel like we were letting him down because we
sucked.
Well, okay, tell the folks how we are during.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Kris and I, like, if you're looking just for a couple of people to take along on your journey to, like, I don't know, add some comedic
We're for sure
relief.
we're taking it seriously, but also we're not taking it seriously. Like we're down to play.
Yeah.
And we enjoy it.
Yeah, it's
but
fun.
also like we're often looking at each other like, how do we spice things up here?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, what's really happening here?
Yeah, so I think, and also I'm just, and I don't know if it's because I haven't played that often, but I'm really bad at like remembering what I have, or like weapons I have, like what I'm actually capable of. Like, and so on the character sheets, you're able to like kind of keep track of what you have, the weapons you have, all of that. And I always forget like, oh, I can use this, or like, oh, I can rage. And I don't know what that means.
Be the first thing you do anytime. Roll initiative. I would like to rage immediately.
Yeah, and
go into a rage.
Well, I don't know if that comes with like practice of like.
I was gonna say
the more you like play with your character, you just know things, or So I think that's where I'm at.
For me, it's like I don't know. haven't played well enough or enough to really know, like when the DM is like, yeah, give me like a dexterity check, and I'm like, which dice, what am I rolling with, what numbers am I adding, you know? It's like I don't know. You need to tell me what it is.
When in doubt, the D20.
Yeah,
just grab it and roll it.
Okay. But I feel like if you're playing with Kris and I, it moves a little bit slower because we
We make it slow?
Do we?
No.
I feel like we ask a lot of questions.
Oh, we do that. Yes, we do
We're
that.
the people that are like, I want to know this person's name. I want to know where they work. What were they
tell
doing
us their
last
story.
night?
Like, what's your story?
See that? So like that's one of those things too, because like I used to play with people where they were like that, and they were like trying to be a problem, and I was like, all right, well, this character's about to be an asshole because like I'm not going to give you all that information.
We're not being problems.
Well, no, but like because he would do that. Like they'd walk into a bar and he was like, oh, I told him there's 10 people there, and he's like, I want to talk to everybody. And I was like,
my God.
He goes, I want to know all their names, and I was like, all right, go ahead. It's midnight and you're talking to strangers. You just walked in, you're dirty, and they're drinking. So he would like walk up to people, and they were like, all the characters were mad. They wouldn't give him their names, and I was like, there's a way to like fuck with those people, those players too. Like you could kind of push back, but it's always in like good fun. And I was like, because he goes after he's like, hey, you all right? And I was like, dude, I was just messing with you. I was like, I knew what you were trying to do, and I just wanted to do a little bit back. And he was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I'm just fucking around.
Truly, I think we want the game, if anything, we want the game to move faster.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
We're always like, all right, like let's pick up the pace here. Like what's happening? Because we want to get to the action, you know?
Yeah.
I think we were spoiled by Community because on the show, the way they portrayed is like they're like it's moving fast and you're just like shouting things. No one's rolling dice.
Well, and it's my dream that we dress up.
Oh, to cosplay,
like,
yes.
I really want to. I want to do it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I think, if anything, for us, we're inexperienced, and I don't think we have the correct kind of patience for the game. At least that's how I feel. Usually when I play, I'm like I want to get to like the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
Yeah.
You?
No, I feel the same way.
Okay.
I think it's just practice too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you like have a preference? Like, do you prefer to be the DM versus just playing?
That's a good question.
I think because of the way I play like with my casual games where Ruben and I trade, it's kind of fun to do both. I too make my characters to be problems, and or like they're just it's great.
Yeah.
But also it's really fun to be a DM because you have that opportunity to play like 6 characters at this in one game.
Yeah.
And like you could like I've made so many characters that I can never put into regular games because they're intended to be like NPCs. And they're kind of broken. So they're not built traditionally the way you would make a character. They're kind of like flavors of different things that I really like.
Yeah.
Just to make them a little more challenging in case my party does choose like, hey, I want to fight this guy now. And I'm like, here we go. But it's fun both ways. It's just, I like that we trade. Also, the name of the podcast is Turning Tables because we rotate DMs and it's the same story.
Should we rotate DMs? Imagine you as a DM.
Well, so that's the thing, though. It's we wrote the same story, so we know more or less about the world.
Yeah.
And I know more than my character knows. So like you have to play a little honestly when you're playing.
Yeah.
But the way we've been doing it now is Alex is currently DMing, and the first time we each DM'd, we pulled our character away from the party, and this time I was like, no, dude, I'm gonna leave him in, and she's like, yeah, me too. And she'll be sitting there like, I keep forgetting I have to fight myself at some point, or like I can still speak to you guys as a player. And it's hard to remember that your character's there too.
Yeah.
So you also have to take so much out of your brain when your character acts.
Wait, there's no way I could DM and play. That's
so we made
much.
it made it challenging for us, but it is fun to just DM and like have a shit ton of like NPCs, monsters, like all these weird things at your disposal.
That's cool.
Yeah. How do you think you would be as a DM?
Well, I'd probably want to do like I'm just wondering like could I do like a Barbie Land world building?
Yeah. You definitely can.
Okay. I think there's a lot that could be there. Like you have to beat a Ken.
That'd be so good.
You have to like the Ken. Yeah, like that's the big monster. Like you gotta go and
to fight Ken.
Fight the Kens.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I want to keep it fun and I would definitely require a costume.
Yeah, well, just from what you were saying, like it sounds like being a DM is like a theater student's dream.
Yeah.
Because you're playing all these different characters.
Yeah.
You can do different accents.
Yeah, that's
that's
the thing too, is like I think it's harder for me just because I'm like not as experienced at DMing as some people are. Is that I'll come up with a voice in my head and I'm like, cool, that NPC is gonna have that voice. And I sit there and I'm like, what did he sound like? Or you started with a voice that was cool. They haven't seen him in 3 sessions. They finally get back to this person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh crap, what does he sound like?
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because like on D&D podcasts, I've heard them go like, please kill this character. Like, just kill him, dude. I hate this voice. I don't want you to talk to him anymore. And it's just...
That's so funny. I'm trying to think like I don't even know, like, where do you even start where do you begin when you're looking to plan a campaign? So
world building's kind of fun. The one that I did for you guys, I literally had you guys do the Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so interesting.
Was based off of that, but I made it smaller because that would have taken forever.
Yeah.
But there's world building games now. Mm-hmm. So the way we built our world for Turning Tables is it's a game called it's called the Quiet Year, where you get a deck of cards and you separate them by suit and shuffle the suits, and then I think it's like diamonds, hearts, spades, clubs is last. And you pull a card, and every card is an event that happens in your world. Or like, hey, there's a forest, like, where do you want to put it? So usually you have this big like map, and you start doing things, and like, oh, suddenly a leader dies. How do the people deal with it? And so we do all that, and it's this year over a land, and what's left of it is your world now, the state it's in.
Wow. Okay, so it makes sense that Danny was your brother-in-law.
He spent
Danny,
so much time
really planning it out.
Yeah.
And wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
we did that. I think it took us like 3 nights, just because it takes long, and then you get an idea and you start like building all of this stuff off of one card, and you're like, we've spent 30 minutes on that card.
Yeah.
We got to keep going.
And
so it's fun. Definite, like I said, plagiarize the hell out of it. If you like the way something's built, do it. The podcast, or not the podcast, the campaign I'm doing with my friends on Thursday nights, the kingdom that they're in is literally Disneyland. So like there's a big castle at the far back, a huge main street, and then it spreads to like different towns.
Perfect.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because I was kind of struggling. I was like, I need to put them in a place big enough and diverse enough, like, I don't know, like a different kind of land. And
Yeah.
So I was like, what the hell am I? I was like, it's just gonna be Disneyland.
Yeah.
And I think it took them
That's funny.
3 months to figure out they were in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Because they were like, wait, why is it just one street that walks straight up to the castle? I was like, this is just how it's built, man. Just buildings on the side, fantasy Costco. And they're like,
fantasy Costco.
They're like, God damn it, it's Disneyland. And I'm like, yeah, it's Disneyland.
Like, yep.
So you could build your Barbie land if you wanted to.
Yeah, totally could.
Please build Barbie. I mean, Barbie land kind of seems like, you can do it. It's like LA and a neighborhood.
Would you play?
From the movie?
Would you come over
1,000%.
while I
It'd be
DM'd?
great. Yeah.
If I were DM, there would be musical numbers.
Oh my.
It'd be a whole thing. So
Use music.
we should be DMs.
We should do it and then report back. Everyone would hate us.
It would be the worst. Yeah. They'd be like, we're done.
Yeah.
What else do we have on the agenda?
We kind of covered
Okay.
tips for anyone looking to plan or start planning campaigns. So you just said like plagiarize.
Literally, Pinterest. If you go on Pinterest and you look up things
I love Pinterest.
like D&D related, I've looked up monsters, magic items. You can probably find maps, worlds, like things already kind of made. It's really cool. Actually, that's what I use it mostly for is D&D monsters.
Well, let's do this. Can you walk us through like one turn, like how one turn
of
the game
of combat, or because that's the thing. Like the way we're gonna start this Thursday if we play is I had them. I just realized it's gonna sound really dumb. I'm sorry. This campaign is off the rails. At the beginning of it, they started the apocalypse. But at some point, they were being hunted by these 2 people that they couldn't find out who they are. And while tracking one of them, they run into this horse in the forest. And while trying to feed one, it bit this guy's hand, and he became a werehorse.
Oh.
And
a werehorse.
Yeah. So he I think they eventually ran into a man who knew about like wear conditions, and he was like, you have 48 hours until like it becomes a thing you can't control and you can't heal yourself. So every full moon you're going to become a horse, and like a big dumb horse. And so now they're on their way to like find. I told them there's a building. I think I said to the north of the castle through a forest, and they call it the warehouse. As soon as I dropped that line, I think I saw 3 players just drop their pens and like walk away for a little bit. No. They were so mad, and that was the best moment of my life.
Yeah.
But they got to the warehouse. It's a big tavern full of people with a wear condition, and so they got rooms, and so where we're gonna pick up is them waking up from like a long rest, so they're healed, all their magic's back, they can do everything to the max again. But they're gonna wake up and they need to find, I think I said they need to find and kill the person who was a werehorse that bit the player. So they need to find that person. They know they transform into a white horse, they just don't know what the person looks like. So now they're fun. Full, and I kind of wrote myself into a thing where I need to create another list of names and races. Yeah. Fantasy racism. But like I need to like be prepared for them to talk to a shit ton of people. Yeah. I need to figure out what this person looks like and what they can do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So they just
each now they player... have so now they can kind of act in however they want. They could separate the party, or they could stick together. Separate the party usually means you're gonna die. That's usually rule 1 is do not pull a Scooby-Doo and separate. Don't split up.
Well, because you like your character can die, right?
Yes, you can die. Your character can die, and it sucks.
Because then you have to start from scratch. Okay.
And usually, I mean, the way like most players or most groups do is like your character dies, create a new character, level them up to the same level as everybody else. Because it's kind of a bitch to like, you have a group of people, it's 1 through 20. You have a group of people at like level 7, and then one of them dies, and they're like, all right, well, here's my level 1 character. And you're like,
wait, dies like during the campaign? And then they create a new character right then and there?
So they would create a new character, and then it's up to the DM how they want to introduce that character.
Okay.
So like our group, it was originally, it's changed a little bit, but we got an addition maybe 3 months ago. It's one of the guys' coworker, and she's brand new to the game, but she really wanted to play. So she made a character, and I was like, all right, well, how do I introduce her to this story? And I think she plays a monk. So she's like, just think very Shaolin, like a lot of punches. And so I think I introduced her as like she was in a bar fight. And I was like, all right, dude, go ahead, like beat this dude up. So she's like fighting, and then as they walk in, she's fighting a random character because they were drunk and harassing her. So like it's up to the DM on how they want to introduce them, and usually work with your player. Like, what would your, how is your character? What would they be doing if I put them in this situation?
Yeah.
So
this is part of the reason why I'm drawn to D&D so much. It's so much storytelling and creative kind of energy, and I love that you get to just you get to create the script and really create the characters, and I love a good story. So that's why part of it is that. And I think that's why being a DM would be fun for me. Yeah. Is you get to kind of write the plot for that campaign. You know? So anyway, so they're during the turn.
So now, so what they're gonna do is they're gonna wake up. Usually, I'll have everybody roll a d20, and whoever has the highest roll wakes up first. So they get to have some time to do something before everybody else.
And a d20 is a 20-sided die.
20-sided die. Okay. And that is your main boy. You're gonna use it for everything. You want to do something, you roll a d20 for it.
Okay.
But so I'll have them wake up, and sometimes they'll separate for a little bit. Like they'll walk down, get a drink or food, and then rejoin the group, or the group will meet them somewhere. So it's kind of just what do they want to do? But if somebody gets in trouble by themselves, then we're going to work that out. And I'll tell the rest of the party, like, okay, you guys are going to have 5 like in story minutes, and I'll let you know when you guys come up. And then so when that happens, it's usually the first person to say, oh, I do this. I'm like, all right, well, now we're going to deal with whatever that is. And so it can be chaotic because people always talk over each other, which is why I don't like remote, because there's always a lag.
Oh, yeah.
Hearing people speak over each other remote is just a nightmare.
Yeah.
But like, at least in person, I'll like do my best to hear everybody. I'm like, okay, that. we're going to start with this because I think that happening first and this as a reaction is going to be really good.
Yeah.
And so, we'll do that. Or if they think it's better the other way, I'll hear them out and be like, all right, well, we'll do yours first then. And it's kind of like easy once you've been playing with the same group of people.
Yeah.
Where they're like, okay, I'm going to wait for that person to do something because I react based off of what they're going to do. So it's kind of in the moment, like, and the people playing with each other, how they play with each other.
Yeah, interact and stuff. That's cool.
What do you think? Because I feel like you can't have two. When we were doing John's or Danny's thing, we had how many? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us.
5 of us, yeah.
What do you think the ideal number of players? Because it's one DM, right?
Right.
And so, like, what do you think?
Player
how many
characters?
is too many?
I've done a DM for 10 people.
Oh man,
that was
wow.
Yeah, it was. So it was cool because I got to use like some stronger monsters.
Yeah.
Because they're outnumbered, but
one turn would last
it
so
takes forever.
long.
So I was telling them, I was like, start thinking about what you want to do now.
Yeah.
Because by the time we get all the way around, it's got to be quick because we're going to be here forever.
Yep.
So.
Oh my god.
That's why we never finish campaigns because the turns. There's only 5 of us, so imagine 10. Oh my gosh.
10 was a mission.
Oh,
but
and for you, like DMing, like to remember everything.
I have to write everybody's name down.
I
don't remember what I wrote their character name and the type of character they are. Because it was a group of beginners, so I was like,
oh no, that's the worst thing.
So I told all of them, I was like, martial class is like being a fighter or a barbarian. It's usually the easier classes to play because they don't have to worry about spells or anything.
Right.
It's just how hard am I going to hit that thing?
That's why I chose to be a barbarian.
But like barbarians can be really fun too. There's a
wait, but you have magic, don't you?
No,
you don't have any.
I was scared.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, magic's overwhelming sometimes. But like barbarians are really cool. There's a feature. I wish I haven't never played a barbarian, but I wish I could remember what the name of the feature is. Where like if they get close to death, they roll a d20, and I think if it's over 10, they're just too angry to die. So as long as they keep hitting things, they can't die.
Me.
And so it's funny because it'll be like, I've seen memes about it where they're like, man, too angry to die, kills like 4 birds and all this stuff.
Oh my gosh.
But it's ridiculous. So like, of course those features, like, they sound very serious.
Yeah.
But it's always going to be presented dumb. Like, it's going to be funny. It's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
As serious as your campaign is, there's going to be dick jokes.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be sex jokes. It's going to be hilarious. Like, it's just, it comes with the territory. And you have to be okay with it. We had a moment in Turning Tables, and I'll never forget it because, like, Turning Tables, the premise is our characters are already dead. They're in this afterlife. And they're trying to ascend through layers of the afterlife to come back. And we had this moment, I think it was pretty early in the episodes, where Alex's character is yelling at the other player, Connor's character, and they're in this heated argument. And she stops and she calls him a coward. And we're sitting there, and like literally me, Ruben, our other friend James, we're sitting there like it was so intense. And it was very much like a mom yelling at her teenage son.
Oh my god.
And so we continue the story from there. And then after, I was like, hey, that was the most intense shit I've ever felt. And like, it was so crazy. And I was like, but it's funny because immediately after we were done recording, it's saying bye, hugging each other. We're talking about how much fun we had.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that you can have like these act out moments with your friends and it's so dramatic.
Yeah.
But you know it's not serious.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take it too far, but like usually you don't.
Yeah, and it's something that we'll bring up in conversation. Like, there's one campaign we're doing with John right now, who's DMing, and like me and Lorenzo are just stuck up in the rafters right now. Like, we're trapped up there, and we'll say it all the time. Like, yeah, we're just stuck up in the rafters. Like, we just haven't come down yet. Like, so it's just fun, like how it gets interwoven into like your everyday conversations too. But yeah, we do have some fun rapid fire questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because you are expert. Sorry, did you have anything else?
No.
Okay.
I think so again, just to sum up, this is a tabletop role-playing game. One person leads it, the Dungeon Master, the DM leads the game, and then the players, hopefully not 10 players.
Yeah.
I think
I was going to say, back to the ideal group.
Yeah.
I think 5 is probably the most
I
would want to do, just because, like you said, people start to feel bored. And like, as a DM, it sucks when you see somebody pull their phone out and they're obviously texting
Yeah.
because you're like, dude, I'm gonna get to you, but like something's happening that you didn't want to act on.
Yeah.
But like I said, usually like if I have my phone out, I'll tell them like I'm gonna look something up because I want to do something. I just need to make sure it's correct.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
So you take turns in this fantasy world that the DM has created, has crafted, probably plagiarized.
Yeah.
And then there's usually a mission or like a goal and objective.
Yeah,
right?
there's usually an objective.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not very clear. It'll start with like little side quests, and then it'll tie into one big story.
Main, right?
Yeah, it just depends on how it was written by whatever DM, how they wanted to do it.
And then playing through the campaign could take months,
It could
depending on
take-
how large and how the scale of the campaign.
Yeah,
right?
it could take it could never end. If you don't want it to end, like they could fight God at level 20 and like they're the strongest they're gonna get, and they fight a god and win, and they're like, okay, cool. But there's also 200 other gods in D&D, so they can just work their way through all these gods, and you can just keep creating stronger characters. It's like Dragon Ball Z. There's always something strong.
I like the one shots that we do because I like a clear beginning and end.
Yeah,
and I like that closure, right?
Well, because I think if you because you and your people, you guys meet up regularly, right?
Yes.
Like, so
for
it's
the
like
pod,
if you
right.
have
Yeah.
like if everyone's committed to like meet, every week or every
Right.
other week,
Yeah.
I think it could be fun to do a really long one.
Yeah.
But we've never done something like that.
Yeah.
But I could see how like having an ongoing story would be really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. But I think the apocalypse story that I wrote on Microsoft Docs, it's probably 30 pages long.
Wow.
And the one that I'm currently writing on, it's at the very top says continued. I don't know where the beginning of the story went.
Oh my gosh.
So it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah.
I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
But it's more than 30 pages of story that I've just been like typing.
That's so cool.
I love that.
So cool.
Okay, let's hit the rapid fire questions.
Rapid fire. Okay. All right. What is your favorite race to play as and why? And could you give the listeners a little context for what we mean by race?
Race. So I love when this comes up, especially in character building. And the first question you're gonna ask somebody is, "What race do you want to be?" And I think the funniest one I heard was on Jesus Christ, the Adventure Zone. And they're like, all right, one of the brothers is like, "What race are you?" And he goes, "White." And I was like, God damn it. It's so good. And it's funny because anytime somebody is like, "Oh, what race are they?" I'm like, all right, fantasy racism, nice and early.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like people will do that in their stories where like elves don't like dwarves don't like elves. And they're like, yeah, I don't like that dwarf, man. Something about them kind of and I was like, it sounds a little racist. But yeah, so there's it's very think Lord of the Rings for people who don't play.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's a good way.
Elves, dwarves, hobbits are called halflings because hobbit is trademarked. There's tieflings are basically like half demon humans. You can play a straight up human. And it's so funny to think that, like,
boring.
Yeah, because people are like, why would you want to be the thing you are every day?
Yeah.
Mix it up.
Yeah.
Half elves are half human. Or technically, it could be half whatever, half elf.
Yeah.
But it's usually half elf, half human. Dragonborn is literally what it sounds like. It's a humanoid dragon. They're usually tall. Goliath is a strong, gigantic human. So the astral elf is literally a space elf.
So cool.
There's what is one that was kind of fun? I think it's called Grung. It's a frog.
Grung.
It's like a humanoid frog.
There's not like a base set of races.
There is, and then Astral Elf is something that got added. Grung is something that got added. I can't remember the name of the hippo race. There's a giant hippo race.
I want a new character ASAP.
There's one of my favorite ones is called Tortle, and it's literally a giant tortoise.
Whoa!
It's so fucking.
Oh
Can
my
did the other characters get to ride on that character?
No, so
is that wrong?
So I present this chaotic idea to Alex, and we bring it to Ruben, and he's like, "Please don't do this." I was like, "What if?" Because the turtle is like, I think it says they weigh close to 2 tons. Like they're very
like
big
a car.
creatures. Yeah. And I was like, all right, what if they like, hide in the shell, I cast an ice spell across the floor and we push him into the bad guy. And he goes, what? And I was like, that's a literal wrecking ball of a tortoise. What happens? How much damage do they take? And he's sitting there going, I don't know. He's like, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know. How fast is he going to? I was like, that's why the ice is there. Like, slip and slide.
Oh my God.
And he's like, I don't know. But I'm not going to write any of those in now because I don't want you guys to do this.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
But my favorite to play as is one of the newer ones. It's my favorite right now because it changes. It's one of the newer ones. It's called Herringon.
Oh.
And it's a rabbit.
Herringon.
Yeah. So big rabbit ears. I haven't played as that character in a while, but it's a swashbuckler rogue. So he's a pirate. And I based him off of the idea of the Dread Pirate Roberts.
I knew you were going to say that!
Yeah. So his name is Willie the Relentless. And it's not his real name. It's literally Dread Pirate Roberts. That name has been passed down through different pirates.
Yes.
And so Herringons have this fun feature. I think they can do it minimum 3 times a day, where they can just jump 15 feet. And it increases as you level up. So, of course, I have that. At some point in the campaign, I came into possession of a ring of jumping that lets me it lets me jump 60 feet. So that 15 feet it's like 3 times 5. So I can multiply 3 into the 60 and jump 180 feet. And then later at some point, I robbed a man who had spider shoes so I can jump and stick to a ceiling. And it's gotten to a point where the DM looks at me, he's like, what are you going to do? And I was like, so I'm going to jump and stick underneath the dragon and just start stabbing. And he goes,
oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. And he goes, are you going to try to hide? And I was like, no, I'm right there. How hard? He's going to hit himself before he hits me.
Oh my God.
So the rabbit race is very fun. If you like to be annoying and weird.
That is so
Let
cool.
the record show that there are items in the game called the Ring of Jumping.
It's either Ring of Jumping or
spider shoes.
I don't know. I think they're like slippers of spider climb or something. It's something weird.
Those. I want those. Okay, next question. Alignment. Lawful, neutral, or chaotic? And can you explain what that means?
It's chaotic for me.
Yeah.
Just because so my favorite class to play as is Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
They're known for being sneaky. They're usually thieves. And there's like with all classes, there's like the main name Rogue, and then it breaks down into so many different possibilities that you can have a magic-based rogue, a rogue that doesn't even touch magic. So it just depends on how you want to play it.
Yeah.
So these alignments, lawful is very much Captain America.
Oh,
like,
okay.
That's like the best way I can describe it using like something people would understand.
Yeah.
Very by the rules. He gets a little weird when he starts like breaking laws and stuff and kind of like an outlawish, but he's still very much his own, like he has a set of rules that he follows. Neutral is, it's very much I would say Iron Man. Because Iron Man does, like, he follows some rules, but he's very much for himself.
Yeah, yeah.
And he that's the idea, is like he doesn't lean toward one side or the other. He kind of does things for himself.
Okay, yeah.
And then chaotic is literally just like doing, it's Loki.
Yeah.
Like doing what you want, like whatever seems fun in the moment.
Yeah.
And like you usually have to deal with terrible consequences.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think chaotic's a little more fun for me personally, the way I like to play.
Yeah.
But you know, some people like being, you know, they want to be Captain America.
Yeah.
And so they'll play this like very righteous character. And
Me, that's mine.
I know, I was gonna ask you.
I'm a half-elf ranger, and yeah, he's very much just like on the side of justice for all. And you, Maya Montero.
Wait, I'm a barbarian type tiefling, and I'm chaotic good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, like that would be. You're very, like, again, it's still chaos, but you're trying to do it. That would be like Captain Jack Sparrow, but if he was trying to help the people more than himself.
I see. Okay. I'm an entertainer too. I don't know if that means anything, but
it's background.
My background has changed, but I think my most recent background is folk hero.
Those ones are fun. I like the folk hero background. It's kind of fun.
I want you to like, maybe we could do a dramatic reading of your backstory at some point.
Yeah, maybe later. That's 6 pages, Hannah.
Okay. Describe your most epic battle encounter in D&D.
So I there's so many that are coming to my mind, but I'm gonna use the one from the first story I played. The final fight in Curse of Strahd. It was our party fighting Dracula, essentially. Strahd is Dracula. Again, I think Dracula might be copywritten. So, but we're in this castle, and I remember I was like, the party discussed, we don't want to go straight to him. We want to like explore the castle a bit, maybe get the drop on him somewhere, but like, do not walk into like his room. We walked into his room, and we took the most like. We used a rope. We jumped out of windows into other ones, did all this crazy shit, and we walked straight into his room.
Oh my gosh.
So then it was like, all right, it's go time. We got to fight this guy. Strahd has so many different abilities, and when you fight like a big boss like that, they have things called legendary actions. There's usually lair actions. So if you're in his house is like almost a character. So the house gets to do things to us every once in a while. And then he can just take a random extra turn because he's the big bad. And so it was so intense. I think that was like a 2-hour fight because of how many things happened.
2-hour fight?
Oh my god.
No, I'm sorry. I gotta go home.
It was intense. No, I was like, he dies now.
Yeah.
He has to die.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and I don't even remember who killed him. It was just like a breath of like fresh air after. And I was like, holy crap, I thought I was going to die.
Wait,
finally.
Did they use a wooden
HP.
stake?
Wow.
5 HP?
No, we used...
no, I got it.
No, I'm just saying for the listeners.
Oh.
HP is health points.
Yeah, health points.
I thought you were explaining it to me. I was like, yeah, I know what it is.
I know. No, we had silvered weapons, holy water, and something else.
So not a wooden stake through the heart.
No, it was... silver. It was silver sword through the head.
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah,
that'll get him. Wow, that's intense. 2 hours. My goodness.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite magical item you've ever acquired in a game?
Amon's flame rapier. It's a rapier it's on fire.
Whoa,
wow, that's so cool.
Not unlike the guy from Game of Thrones.
I don't know.
Oh well, everything's been plagiarized.
Wait, maybe you could tell me about this magical item I have. What is it called? I have that weird blood reaver. Remember? And it's supposed to make me evil.
Every time she uses it, like, I think it takes
a part of my soul.
Yeah.
It's a sword?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, I'll text you.
Yeah.
Have you watched Vox Machina?
No.
Okay.
I don't have... It's on Amazon?
It's on Amazon?
I don't have Amazon.
Okay, well, if you ever get Amazon, it's an animated series based on, I think, Critical Role.
It's Critical Role, yeah.
So, and just that sword is in that.
Oh.
Is on that cartoon.
So I should watch that.
You should watch it, yeah.
So I know what to do.
I heard it's really good.
It is good, yeah.
Because I'm like scared to use it because I'm like, well, I don't want it to take
Just
my
use it,
soul.
make it weird.
Okay. And then share a memorable plot twist you've incorporated into a campaign.
It was definitely making my players start the apocalypse.
Yeah.
So they went to this like town by a castle, and they had taken a job from Rick and Morty, and literally Rick and Morty, because there is a book that has them as characters, so you get to play as them or use them as NPCs. And so they took a job from them where they had to go save this town who, like, evil wizard killed the king is now in charge. And so, so they get there and they're there with the king's, like, only surviving son, fight their way through the castle, and son gets kidnapped, dies, and they have to fight this evil wizard. And a character I was going to use on you if we ever played again. I found a Lil Nas X character.
Stop.
It was fucking great. Full on wings and everything.
Oh my god, I'm dead.
So they had to fight both of them. And there was a thing that was happening where like the wizard would touch this throne and it would heal everybody, including himself and Lil Nas X. But everybody got some healing out of it.
Wow.
And so they were really confused about, hey, what the hell? And what they didn't notice was the more damage they were dealing, the throne was like glowing.
Yeah.
And at the end, when they killed the wizard and he died on the throne, his like blood ran into it and it like split open and the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse came out. And as that's happening, I think the first 3 run out and Death is the last one to come out. Death looks, scans them, points at Rick Sanchez, kills him immediately, picks up his portal gun and leaves.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
I didn't even know all the words you used right there, but wow.
Yeah.
It was fucking great.
Wow. Oh my god. That's so impressive that you came up with that.
Yeah.
It was plagiarism. I think I got most of that idea from Supernatural.
Wait, the show?
Yeah.
With starring the 2 dudes?
Yeah.
Supernatural.
I don't know it.
From the CW.
No.
Oh.
Wait, is that the one without the belly button? No, that's Kyle.
No,
That's
that's
Kyle
Kyle
X.
X.
Oh, shit.
Anyway.
You should watch Supernatural. It's really good.
Okay.
It has Dean from Gilmore Girls in it.
Okay. Stop yelling at me.
Was that the last question?
That was the last question.
All
Oh,
right.
shit.
That's the bell. Thank you so much for joining us on this very, how would you say, adventurous episode
Yeah.
of Dungeons and Dragons. Final thoughts.
I think if you're like me and you were scared
Yeah.
about playing or you like laughed at it, I genuinely think it's so much fun. And
Yeah.
like when you're with the right group of people.
I was gonna say, if you have the right group of friends
Yeah.
and you're all kind of into, you have to kind of be willing to be silly a little bit.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to be dumb in front of your
Yeah.
friends, it's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
You have to be dumb. Just
Yeah.
nobody cares.
Yeah.
Right.
They already know you. Be stupid.
Yes. Yeah. It
Make
is-
them uncomfortable with your horny jokes.
There are plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. And
Thank you guys for having
I
me.
definitely want you to share your podcast.
Yeah,
like,
I'll start plugging
plugging
things.
away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Turning Tables is on Instagram at Turning Tables Pod. My beer and music show, Hops and Notes, is on Instagram, Hops and Notes Pod. And if you want to listen to other things that network does, it's Horrible People's Network on Instagram, HORRORBLE People's Network.
Yeah. And we'll be sure to like tag
Yes.
everything
definitely.
and
Yeah.
post and stuff so they can
Yes.
find you easily.
Hell
But
yeah.
Yes.
should we go on Turning Tables? Could you plan a campaign for us? We could do
That
like
could be fun.
a crossover.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Ooh,
ultimate crossover.
that could be real.
But it has to be. It has to be like a really short campaign.
I'm actually gonna see. I'm gonna see Alex and Ruben later today, or I don't know if Ruben's going.
Okay.
I'm for sure gonna see Alex. She might
Yeah.
be down. I'll ask
Okay.
her.
That would be
That'll
awesome.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'm bringing my half elf ranger.
Yeah.
So
I'll be ready. Cool.
well, thank you so much, listeners. DM us, email us, follow us on the socials, leave us 5-star ratings. Play Dungeons and Dragons. It's
Do it.
fun. Don't be afraid.
Do it.
Buy some dice.
Buy some
Bye.
dice.
Until next time, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun.
Bye.
Peace.